playing that Rhyme, and he just totally dominated like the pace of the game. He controlled everything that they were doing.
Yeah, I love that about Fuji when he feels comfortable on a hero. You know, he's one to get up in your face and just make the action happen. He's not too hesitant of a player. It's going to be Fortress, the first pick up here for Gankstars Sirius. We've seen a lot of Fortress throughout this whole qualifier tournament so far. We've seen a lot of Fortress today specifically. Why are we seeing so much Fortress right now?
Well, Fortress really opens the door for you, especially grabbing it as a first pick, because combined with a lot of heroes that can do the auto attacks, that can really dive deep, this is a very aggressive moving forward.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have that really supportive kit coming out of Fortress. There is no like peel, there's nothing like that, but you do have that lifesteal, so you can always initiate in the team fights.
Nice, definitely, definitely. All right, well, Liberation X, they pick up Sky as the first pick, and now they're highlighted on Arden here. Let's see if they want to pull the trigger on Arden as their second pick. How do you feel about that? Is that the time to pick up the Arden here?
Well, I would actually specifically would have left Arden for my third and final pick. I think that grabbing a comfortable jungle carry first, or a lane carry that secures a composition that you have a favor for, because you already see that Fortress coming out, and most likely you don't see too many Crystal Fortresses in this patch.
No, we really haven't, you know, it's shying away from that, just with this proving where Fortress is actually strong right now in the meta. And it's going to be coupled up with the Vox. We've seen this before. It's going to provide a lot to Vox when he's chasing heroes. Otherwise, when it comes down to peel, to defense, like you said, it's not going to provide too much there. So it's speaking to the mindset, I think, of Gankstars Sirius a little bit when we see that pickup. And now, last pick, they're highlighted on Ringo. Do you like this, the way it rounds out their composition?
Yeah, I've actually ran this composition specifically with Fuji before, like a long time ago. Due to the fact that you have a lot of auto attacks coming out combined with Fortress's kit, this is when you really utilize all that proc, all that bonus damage that you get from Fortress.
Yeah, can you know, just for the people that we have watching right now, they might understand that makes sense. You want to get those auto attacks off. What happens when you get those auto attacks off?
Well, if you do overdrive it on Fortress, you get like a speed proc and a little slow coming out of, I think, Law of the Claw. But as long as you're able to dive in, like, everything with Fortress is very initiative. You always have to be engaging, you always have to be very front forward, always, you know, pacing in one direction, so you get lifesteal, you get movement speed bonus, and then you get damage coming out.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, that Ringo Fortress combo, it's very, very deadly. I think it's easy to underestimate what they can actually do with you. Move speed coming out of Fortress is going to be helping your team, okay? Yeah. You got the Achilles shot from Ringo. It's going to be slowing down the opponent. With those things coupled up together, it's really so hard to run away. But let's see right now if Gankstars can capitalize on this draft, guys. We've loaded into the Halcyon Fold. So with that, we'll toss it to our caster, Shenyi, Forecourt Jester. Take it away.
Well, Fuji is not going to be getting that rhyme this round, but it looks like his Ringo is going to be pretty much on point here, Shinyi.
Yeah, well, when Fuji first started playing, he streamed a lot, and one of the heroes that he played a lot on stream was Ringo. He was very, very good at the Ringo. So this is really exciting for me to see. You know, he has been focusing a little bit more on, you know, Rhyme, heroes like Rhyme, Cruel. And seeing Iraqi on that Vox makes me so happy. When Vox first came out, Iraqi Zara was like the Vox to beat. He was unbeatable. He made all these new builds that were just incredible. Everybody just copied him. This is so exciting, seeing Fuji and Iraqi playing some of their stronger heroes.
Now, upon the original coming into this one, Liberation X has definitely had that history of ups and downs and, you know, Autumn Live Final Championships, you know, winners, and now not exactly returning that former glory. But Marteau has definitely been like a cornerstone of a lot of this team, and here he is once more on that Arden.
Yeah, well, I think people had doubts when T-Tigers left if Liberation X were still be able to make it far, and they've done very well. They've made it into the quarterfinals, so they've still got that potential there, and they're working very well upon the original. And you know, we've got this, you know, this classic formula of Marteau and Status Big, who were on the original lineup for Liberation X.
Status.
Status.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, you guys don't say it right over there. Anyways,
Wait, how do you say it?
Status big. Status big. It's something we do with the British casters. Don't worry about it. So Fuji with a jungle Ringo. How often have we gotten to see this?
Oh, pardon me. We've not seen Jungle Ringo very much, to be honest. We've seen a few Jungle Celeste, but Jungle Ringo is very new. And as Roman Human has said before, or Romanist, Ringo's Twirling Silver synergizes really well Toothless Fortress's Law of the Claw. So that's gonna be a very lethal combination, especially against the Sky. The Sky, you know, if you can output enough damage onto the Sky before she can, you know, dodge around all your attacks, it's gonna be very, very difficult for them.
And the blow-up potential does seem rather increasingly deadly as time will go on. Iraqi Zoro can easily go into that crystal there as well. That leaves Fuji for that weapon, because I very highly doubt we're going to see a double weapon coming out of this. But still, I mean, Fortress, as they said, you know, a lot of bans, and now just a lot of picks today as well.
Yeah, well, the thing about Fortress is that he's looking very strong. Last season, we didn't see him play as much, but, you know, he's had a few changes, and he's very, very strong. He's probably one of the top supporters, along with Finn. So it's nice seeing the variation in supports, because before it was all about Arden and Catherine, and things got a little bit repetitive, but we're seeing so much more Fortress. And with Rekt and Fuji back together, so they're in the original Gankstars Vega lineup, they've got this synergy that's been there for quite a few seasons. And they're looking so strong. We saw some of the performance in the round of 16 last week, and they did extremely well in the jungle. They were just completely and utterly dominant.
Now you can see up here in this lane, you know, speaking of Rekt, he is going to be babysitting Iraqi Zoro just a little bit. We are leaving Fuji to kind of do whatever he needs to do in the jungle by himself, but Rekt is getting a lot of that Iron Guard gold. Iraqi Zoro has intentionally let Pawn the Original just kind of continually push up. This is actually starting to affect his last hits a little bit. I've definitely seen a few kind of go into the night very quietly, simply because Pawn does not have that angle.
Yeah, and he also knows that Fortress is there. Well, he believes that Fortress is there babysitting the lane, and Iraqi Zoro is doing a really good job of stalling the lane, preventing him from getting up, because what the last thing that Pawn wants is to overextend. He can be easily caught out by Vox, even though Vox doesn't have that much damage in the early game. He doesn't want to take that risk.
And clearing a few of the mines here, the three-man shop squad. Iraqi Zoro probably just going to go back to the lane at this point, simply because Pawn is now getting some of those last hits. But again, like with these mines, it's a really early warning system. Pawn the Original, no problem, just gets out of that with that afterburn. And, well, if we can continue to zone him out for some of these last hits, it will work out eventually. But this is a pretty big wave going up against Pawn. At the same time, like Fuji and crew, man, they are just going to get caught by that rotation. Rekt is not even going to get a kill here on top of Status Bake. And that's now going to leave Iraqi Zoro punted right into the gold miner as well. Is this actually going to be an ace? Yes, that's a 4-minute ace going to Liberation X with some fantastic position.
Yeah, what we saw, I think what happened there is that Fuji became a little bit too greedy. We, you know, started off well for them. Status Bake took a lot of damage. Sorry. Status Bake took a lot of damage from Fuji there, and he was so adamant on picking up the kill there that, you know, he was able to finish it off by Pawn and Martel very quickly. So that was their biggest mistake, and it left Rekt very vulnerable as well. And then Iraqi Zoro on that box kept it very much.
Oh, Rekt just absolutely dominated right there. Fuji, I don't think actually has an exit, but that being said, does not look like Sky was actually very interested in trying to maintain that. Does not have a lot of health left on Status Baked right now. So Iraqi Zoro is just going to get punched right up into his turret. I don't think we're going to see a dive under that one, but still, Marto and Pawn, if you see, both level 5, Rekt and Iraqi both sitting level 4.
Yeah, and Fuji is going to be going for that tension bow as well. He's already got 6 sins and the I can't remember the name of it, but he's got the 6 sins and he's building for that tension bow. He's a few hundred gold off for it, but at 5 minutes he doesn't have it yet, and I just don't think it's going to be doing too much, especially against Glaive and Arden, two of the tankier heroes. He's really not going to be outputting that much damage. Perhaps tension bow wasn't the best choice here. I think if he rushed it a little bit faster and got to under 4 or 5 minutes, he would have done a lot more.
Talking about the piercing spear?
Piercing spear, that's it. Thank you.
No.
Thank you very much.
All right, Zoro in a little bit of a situation right now. So he is going to get punted out with that afterburn. He is going to try to kite it out, but it's going to be very hard to do really too much kiting up against Status Baked on that Sky. And you can just say status, however you want, whatever's natural for you. Still, with the 3-man pressure here, Liberation X pushing forward. They are going to be trying to, again, just shove as much under this turret as they can to try to deny that farm.
Yeah, it's interesting to see this because I feel like Liberation X are playing much better as a team than Gankstars Sirius right now. And the reason why I find it so interesting is because Gankstars Sirius are absolutely dominating the team charts. They work very well as a team. Individually, their stats don't look much, but as a team, they're fantastic.
I will give props right there to Fuji to try to steal that with the Hellfire, but it will be the gold mine going over the Glaive. Just, unfortunately, his auto attacks are a little bit too powerful for that steel to work. I mean, he does have that 6 sens, he has the heavy steel and the attack speed. It was just not meant to be. Iraqi Zoro back into the lane, and Fuji's are going to rotate through the jungle once more. But as you said, I mean, it does feel a little bit shaky here from Gankstars. They are getting caught out. They've already had an ace against them. It's 5 kills nil. They didn't steal the gold mine. You could just chalk it up to first game of the night. I mean, we are a little behind stream schedule, so these guys have been kind of just out and about, not really perhaps in that mindset yet.
Yeah, Rekt face checking that bush was not the best idea, taking a lot of damage, and you know that's gonna be a free kill there for Pon the Original, who is diving very, very hard for this right now.
Yeah, he's going to pay for it. Absolutely. I mean, even with Marto here comes Fuji. Auto attacks, he can't body block whatsoever. Now, we do actually have Status Bait coming up here as well. That's going to be the death from above and the gauntlet. Goodbye, Arakizaro. Goodbye, Fuji. On top of that, another ace is going to go over Liberation X.
Yeah, I don't think they anticipated Status Patron Marto being there.
Really giving you trouble.
You're giving, it's making me really struggle there. I'm just gonna stick to status. Stick to
Yeah.
what I know.
Do it.
So we saw the fountain coming out, keeping Pon the Original alive just long enough, but it wasn't enough. He went down, but Status Bait and Marto just came in, guns blazing. They were able to pick up the kills on Arakizaro and Rekt so easily. And Arakizaro, He's doing well. He's got creep score of 48. He's got the alternating current, but he's not going to be doing as much damage as he will be as, let's say, 17, 18 minutes. And he's getting caught out here by Pon the Original.
And the 8-minute tension bow on top of it from Fuji.
And like I said before, I'm not the biggest fan of this. However, Pon the Original on the glaive, he's tanky enough that he doesn't need to get his health that early. But Marto, he's already got a Dragon Heart. He's not going to be able to, Fuji is not going to be able to do that much damage onto him.
Arakizaro, unfortunately, he's just going to get stunned right into it. Look at that damage coming out. I mean, Status Bake's going to have that easy peasy, no problem, but we need to get some reflex blocks, like ASAP.
Yeah, Arakizaro's been caught out quite a few times, and I think that was the biggest mistake. This is what's been consistently happened, is that Arakizaro does not have the reflex block, and that is why he's been caught out. Fair enough, at 8, in the early stages of the game, it's very easy to be caught out by a glaive with an afterburn.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's the big strength of that glaive.
Yeah, and we've been seeing Glaive work so well in the past 2 series of tonight. He has just been a priority pick for for a lot of the teams, and he just works so well. And I think especially against a Ringo and Vox combo, they're both quite squishy heroes. I think I would have liked to prefer to see a more tanky jungler on Fuji, maybe.
Like a Rhyme?
Maybe a Rhyme.
We were talking about Rhyme in that picks bands. If you recall, last time we saw Gankstars Sirius, I mean, these guys just absolutely murdered Noble Esports. Like, it was not even close whatsoever. And that was Fuji on a Rhyme. This jungle Ringo, I mean, Rome might have ran this in the past, but perhaps it should stay in the past.
I think it would have done, we've been ragging on Attention Ball a lot. And I'm going to continue ragging on about it. I just don't think it was a...
Okay.
I'm just
maybe we're going to go somewhere different with this.
No, definitely not. But I just don't think it was the best first item, especially when you are in the jungle against a Glaive and Arden. They're such tanky heroes. Attention Bow is not going to be able to do much. You want sustained damage. You want burst damage. The Tyrant, the Sour Blade. Any of those would have been better than Attention Bow.
And another 235 gold apiece here for Liberation X. That is going to put them into the 4,000 gold lead area. 9-1 for kills. We are slowly starting to lose all the map pressure that Gankstars can even muster at this point. And once more, Arakizaro just kind of trapped under that turret. You got that flare out. Fuji and Rekt are going to take the super long way around, but are they even going to be able to pick up any of it? Okay, well, they did pick up one of the backs, but look at that gauntlet. Absolutely perfect. Fuji had no response, and it's just a straight up murder in the jungle.
Yeah, well, he ran into that gauntlet, used his reflex block earlier on, but still got stunned by the gauntlet. So I think what we need to see is Rekt getting a Crucible to maybe help block some more things for Fuji and Arakizaro, to be honest. And Arakizaro is just on the wrong side of the map right now, as we see Pon the Original and Martel heading straight for that turret.
Well, he didn't get caught out, but he was definitely way too far forward. And as soon as his teammates did get murdered, this is probably the best move you could probably do. Now, Status Baked is going to be here. He is going to get that lock, and I don't really think there's much Araki can do. 9-11, and already with that jump, yeah, Status Baked easily picks up the very delayed 3-0. But at the same time, I mean, pushing up, I think that was the best thing he could have done.
Yeah, and we just saw Pon the Original picking up a Shiver Seal. I think that's a fantastic pickup on a Glaive. He's already got the Afterburn. He can peel away, and now he can stick to them as well. He's got that Sour Blade. He'll be outputting a lot of damage. And Rekt, poor Rekt, is getting a lot of damage there from Stasis Baked.
Yeah, but they're going to give him up. They're going to take these back instead. There's so much more value in denying the farm than getting the kill right now. And look at this. I mean, even on that turret, this turret just doesn't exist anymore. That was not the death from above to end all death from above. But Status Bake's going to be dropping low. The wait for it from Arakizaro was pretty good, but at the same time, just everybody is starting to melt. There goes the Glaive. He perhaps went a little bit too far forward, and now we got some puppies coming out. Status Baked, he's going to turn around, but I think he just needs to get out of dodge. With a 2-0 against him, he needs to deny this ace, and he has 10 seconds to make it work.
Well, I don't think they're gonna get the ace this time. Status Baked is just gonna get to safety under his turret. But that was a good team fight there for Gankstars.
Fuji's going for it. Fuji's going for it.
Oh my god, Fidget.
Yeah, I lied.
He's not. It's all good. But like I said, that was a very good fight for Gankstars. They were able to pick up the kill. So we saw Fuji just going on to Status Bay, getting a lot of damage there. We saw some clutch finds coming out from both sides, very nice. But I think Arakizar was, he managed to land the weight, pull off the weight for it. His Resonance was doing a lot of damage, and I think that's what kept him alive that little bit longer. Fuji was so close to dying.
He died.
So, yeah.
So close, but also
So
not
close.
just dead. He just stuck around way too long. He started actually doing some jungling, and then he went shopping, and by that point, Pond the Original basically was on top of him. So, not exactly the kill I think that Fuji was expecting, but at the same time, Pond very happy to take it, and they take the gold mine on top of it.
Yeah, so although Gankstars were able to win that last team fight, like you said, Liberation X are the ones that are just getting the gold mines. They are also the ones that are 6k ahead in gold right now, which is a significant advantage to them.
And weapon infusion, crystal infusion coming into this 13.5 minutes in. It's not quite Helga time.
Yeah,
but
that's a big power spec there for Liberation X, and they know it. They're just being very aggressive. This is what they need, and we're just not seeing the damage coming out from Gankstars as we would like to see. And like we've said before, the synergy just seems off. They are not playing as we normally would expect Gankstars. And when I think of Gankstars Sirius play, one word I would just think to describe them is clinical. They have very clinical performances. Their team fights are executed very well, and we're just not seeing this coming off very well, to be honest.
Arto's like, peekaboo, peekaboo, and they're like, and he's just, kind of dancing around. And kind of funny, at least in my eyes, that neither team really wants to kind of commit at this point. I mean, Marto had a perfect opportunity. If he really wanted to put them into the cage, he definitely could have. The only person with a reflex block is Fuji.
Yeah, I think Arakizar definitely needs to consider investing in a reflex block, but he's instead opted for the double infusions, so with no money left to get a reflex block. So this is something I'm sure Liberation X will pick up on. What they need to do is get Arakizar stunned. They've got Marto, they've got Status Bake, they've got Pawn, all with stuns, so they can chain the stuns onto Araki. He is going to be dead very, very fast.
And here comes Helga. 20 seconds. Gankstars, though, Wrecked is going to be the one taking the front of Barrage, but okay, a little bit of damage on top of Status Bake. Not exactly the end of the world, and the Puppies, unfortunately, just not going to be hitting their mark either. And Gankstars is now out 2 ultimates, and they got no kills.
Not the best fight. What we saw from Liberation X was that they just backed away. They knew they had to get rid of the small wolves before Gankstars engaged.
So Kraken is now definitely going to be a very big objective. If you look at this 6,000 gold between the teams, Marto's going to find Wrecked, and I'm not entirely too sure the Puppy's going to get through this one. He actually does get punted away. He jumps right back into it. Marto is going to be the guy that's going to be now low. He is still using that gauntlet, though, for the zoning and the 2-man kill. Wrecked, unfortunately, because of how the positioning worked with that afterburn, I don't think any of the Fountain went to his teammates, and they just all dropped 3-0 right there for Liberation X.
Yeah, felt a sloppy team fight there for Gankstars. We all 3 of the members used everything they could, except for Fuji and Arak, who already used their ultimates. But we saw Arakizar just trying to throw out everything, but it was absolutely no use. Pond the Original came out with very little damage, with very little change to his health. He didn't really lose that much, and Arakizar, without that reflex block, was unable to do anything against the afterburn. And like I said, just got shot down so fast. He needs that reflex block, but he's not going for it.
Kraken, turrets, infusions, even going to get an infusion here from Wrecked. This is looking pretty dire here for Gankstars, and I think this actually might be their first loss that they've suffered on stream, if this does go through.
Liberation X are just doing very well. I think this is the first time I've seen them play since, in this qualifier, and we've seen the Wolves being released, and Rex is fully intent on engaging right now.
Yeah, but 2 of them go down before they even get to their targets. Araki Zoro just has nobody to keep him going. Rex does have that fountain, but that's not going to be enough. Status Bake just takes him down very easily, and this is going to turn into a 3-0 with the Kraken pushing in, and that, by all rights, should be game. Liberation X, you said clinical for Gankstars Sirius. I gotta say that these guys played a very clean game. Took a control early on, never let it go, and now they're up 1-0 here in the quarter.
Such impressive play again. And look, it's 17 minutes. Arakizar still doesn't have that reflex block. We saw in that last fight, he'd already used Exotics and the cooldown was not there. And he just got absolutely deleted by status bait there. He wasn't able to escape. Fuji desperately trying to kite away, trying to kill upon the original, but because he didn't have the damage and because they were so far behind, couldn't finish him off. And that was just a very, like you said, a very clinical game coming out from Liberation X.
I was really curious how starved Fuji was, because by the end of it, he had the tension bow, and, well, that was about it. And he wasn't actually even the most starved. Wrecked at 3,900 gold, clocking in. Fuji at 43. Araki Zoro just not doing too much better at the 5k market. Was just really, really good stuff from Liberation X. Perhaps this will be the patch that they return to that former glory. And on the original, doing work on that glaive. Definitely, I think, one of the better ones that we've seen today. And Sky. Sky. So much Sky today, Jinyi.
Yeah, the Sky's actually been really good. I think we saw her feel for last year. I think it was a few weapon Skies. They didn't work out so well. We kind of criticized it a little bit, more than a little bit, quite a bit actually. But this Crystal Skies, they are doing amazingly. Like the 4 barrages, and I think we're just seeing some really skilled Skies coming out. The mobility is very nice. Combined with the glaive who can peel away and the Sky who can dodge all the shots, it's a very, very nice combination.
Yep, no weapons here today. They've definitely gone all crystal, and they've definitely won, and we're definitely going to be setting up here for game number 2. So we're going to take a quick break, back to the Romanist for now.